Welcome back to Rice Dynasty. We're surprisingly 3-0 heading into week 5. I wasn't expecting to have such a good start at the beginning, but we are in a weaker conference, so we have been able to take advantage of an easier schedule. I believe we were even projected to finish 10th in our conference, but it looks like we're going to finish higher than that. It is a long season, so we will see what happens. Let's go ahead and take a look at the settings that we're using. We are going to remain on Heisman. I think it gave us a challenge in the last video, but we'll see if it needs adjusting. The wear and tear sliders remain the same, and so does the gameplay sliders. I don't think we will ever change those, but we'll see. I put injuries up to 15. I don't think they came into play too often, but we'll also keep an eye on that just so we don't have everybody out at one time. We are a quarter of the way through the season, so let's take a look at the team stats. While I was looking at Gail Ochoa's stats and our record, it made me think about something Cam Newton said about quarterbacks. You're either a game changer or you're a game manager. Gail Ochoa definitely fits the game manager category, and there's nothing wrong with that. He takes care of the ball and is able to lead the team, but he's definitely not the reason why we're on this 3-game winning streak. Hardman has been a big star for us. Without his play, I'm not sure we're in the same position that we're in. 517 yards on the ground on 79 carries and 4 touchdowns to start the season. Dugar hasn't had the same amount of opportunities as Hardman, but he is being very productive. 253 yards on only 34 carries, averaging about 7.5 yards a carry to go along with those 3 touchdowns. We are a running team, so it's not surprising to see our receiving numbers low. What is surprising is that Barry Jackson Jr. is not our top receiver. He did have that big offseason training boost, and I thought he would be Ochoa's #1 target, but instead it's actually Preston Zinter who's leading the charge in yards and touchdowns. Like I said, it's still early. Things could change. Barry Jackson doesn't have a touchdown yet on the season, which is again surprising, but he is doing very good things in a punt return. When it comes to touchdowns, Zinter has 2 to lead the team. Matthews, Grice, Clark, and Hartman Jr. all have 1 to begin the season. Our defense has been amazing to start the season. They haven't given up many points, and I believe they're the main reason why we have this 3-0 start. Norwood, Russell, and Agude all lead us with 6 tackles for loss. Speaking of Agude, he's a true freshman, so we have at least 2 more years as long as he doesn't decide to transfer, which you can see there his deal breaker is conference prestige. Will most likely demand NIL in those next few seasons, which we will be inclined to give to him. Hopefully he doesn't ask for too much so that he doesn't transfer away. Our sack leaders so far in the season. Russell has 4 sacks to start the season. He leads the team. Mutombo is next with 3. Then we have Agude, Thomas, Clark, and Bickley all with 1. We do have 5 different players with 1 interception for a total of 5 on the season. We have Thames, Cody, Vermas, Richmond, and we're just going to call him Austin, as he also leads us in forced fumbles. Thames, Mutombo, Hobbs, and Joyner all have 1 forced fumble, while Agude and Ball have the fumble recoveries. And again, Barry Jackson with that punt return touchdown is our only special teams touchdown. We do also have 2 defensive touchdowns. Alright, so let's take a look at what we're doing as a team. If we're taking a look nationally, we're good for top 15 in the nation for yards per game. We're sitting at 498.7, but we're bottom 10 in the nation in passing, sitting at 495 total pass yards, only beating out teams like Army and Air Force, who predominantly just runs the ball all game. Now, while we do have a bottom 10 passing offense, when we take a look at our rushing stats, we're top in the nation, leading by a good 31 yards over Notre Dame. We literally have the best backfield in the nation, leading through 3 games, and I genuinely believe that we will finish at least top 10 when the season is over. Mostly everybody has played 4 or 5 games. We've only played 3 and we're still leading the nation. We don't lead in touchdowns, but we're middle of the pack there. When it comes to our defense, we're middle of the road when it comes to yards per game, passing, and rushing, but we are top 10 in interceptions, sitting at 5. We do unlock Portal King for quarterbacks through our coach. Hopefully that gets some quarterbacks interested in our program. After looking at those stats, we will need some help next year because we don't want to just depend on the run. We do have DeAndre Hardman, but if he decides to transfer away, we can't just only depend on Dugar, and that will probably lead to injuries, so we want to make sure that we have a full team, not just our running backs. So let's get into our opponent, the Army Black Knights. Since we went over stats in this episode, we are going to only just play this one game. I don't want to get the video too long. So let's go ahead and look at their roster. Let's take a look at their senior quarterback, Corey Dawson. He isn't really accurate and he doesn't have the strongest arm, and he also isn't the quickest. So we aren't really too worried about the passing game. I think more so their running backs we should be more worried about. The starting running back for Army is Aiden Self. He has 62 yards on 13 attempts, but they have a backup running back who has been getting the majority of the handoffs. That's God's Power Nawahi. He has 161 yards on 25 attempts. Since Army's offense basically revolves around running, I figured it would be good to take a look at their fullback. Their wide receivers are decent, but there is one receiver that I wanted to look at in particular. Freshman wide receiver Miguel Hector. Now he has 96 speed. I'm not sure if they use him in gadgets or not, but on the season he has 2 catches, 23 yards. I know the servicemen usually don't transfer too often, but if he ends up in the portal, I will be trying to get him. Continuing through their team, their offensive line looks pretty solid. Their defensive line also looked pretty solid. Their linebacker core is really good, and there was one player that stood out in particular, Justin Williams. This is someone we need to really make sure we're looking out for. At a 91 overall, he looks like a very good coverage linebacker, and he looks like he's good at wrapping up the ball carrier. Their secondary also looks pretty solid. We haven't been turning the ball over too much, but this could be potentially one of those games. Last episode, we were supposed to give Coffee a scholarship. We didn't, so this one we did. Hopefully it's not too late, but we shall see. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the game. We have the Rice Owls versus the Army Black Knights. Alright, here we go. Rice kicks off to Army to start the game. On the kick return is actually God's Power Nawahi, who takes it back to about the 16, and here comes the Army Black Knights offense. I don't see Army passing a lot this game, so we're going to come out in a lot of like blitz formations, a lot of man. It's something we typically don't do. We are typically in cover 2, cover 3, but I just don't see a reason unless it's like a passing situation. So that first carry doesn't go to Aiden Self or God's Power. It actually goes to their fullback, Quentin Ezzard. I figured they would use him in a scheme as he's in the backfield again. This time it's on looks like a quarterback option. Quarterback keeps it and only gets a gain of 1. So on 3rd and long, we do come out in the zone. Dawson does step back to throw. He does hit his receiver, but it's not going to get a first down, and that's going to be a 3 and out for the Army Black Knights on their first possession. The punt goes out at the 33, and here comes Rice University for their first possession. Ochoa starts the game off in a shotgun as he puts Matthews in motion. He snaps the ball and hands it off to Hardman, who gets his first carry of the game, and that's good for only about a gain of 1. Ochoa comes out with an empty backfield and he's looking to throw it. He hits Matthews on a short route, but he's instantly tackled by Justin Williams, their star linebacker. It didn't take long for him to get his first tackle, as that brings up a 3rd down. Ochoa tries to throw it over the middle to Matthews, but Justin Williams again makes another play early in this one. So that's a quick 3 and out for both teams as Rice punts it away. God's Power takes a huge hit on that play as he fails to call for a fair catch. Ezra takes the pitch to the right as he gets the game's first down as he gets a gain of about 9 yards. God's Power gets his first touch on offense as he has some room to the outside, but he gets tackled before the first down by Marcus Hobbs, and that's going to force another punt. Jackson is back to receive, but he muffs the punt, but he falls on it before Army is able to recover. So here comes Rice from their own 11-yard line. The handoff goes to Harmon, who gets a gain of about 10. So instead of 1st and 10, it's going to be 2nd and 13. Ochoa takes the snap and he's looking to pass. He rolls out to his right and he checks it down to DJ Dugar, who throws a stiff arm and gets about a gain of 10, so it's going to be 3rd and 3. Ochoa's going to pass on 3rd down. He has a man across the middle, but he overthrows him. So it's going to bring up 4th and 3. They have to punt it away. God's Power is back to receive the punt, and this time he takes a fair catch after that big hit last time. Army would take over in their own territory. Eventually they will have a 3 and out, and they're going to punt it right back to Rice's offense. First quarter has been very slow. The only action we've had so far is really on the punts. Army gets a beautiful bounce from their punter and they down it at the 1-yard line. Rice comes out and they have to go 99 yards to get a touchdown and about 80 yards to get into the field goal kicker's range. Ochoa puts a man in motion and then hands it off to Harmon, who gets about a gain of 3, and that brings up 2nd and 7. At this point, I think we should just go ahead and try to get some room for our punter as Ochoa checks it down to Harmon, who catches it but loses 2 yards on the play. Ochoa takes the snap out of the gun. He rolls to his left looking to throw again, throws it down to Harmon, who can't hold on, and that's going to bring up a 4th and 9. That's going to be another 3 and out to start the game as God's Power is back to receive the punt. He breaks the tackle and has some room out to the left, and he's going to take it back to Rice's 23-yard line to start their possession. Army looks like they're going to score the first points on the game as Aiden Self takes the handoff and he gets about 8. Dawson puts God's Power in motion as he takes the snap. It's a play fake, and he takes a sack. That's Christopher Clark with his first sack of the game. That will bring up 3rd and 10. Dawson hands it off to Self, who only gets about a gain of 3, and that brings up 4th and 7. We jump off sides while they kick the field goal, but they will just end up taking the 3 points. So here comes Rice on their next possession. Ochoa hands it off to Hartman, who has some room, and he gets about a gain of 10, and it's going to be 2nd and inches. It's been a very slow start for both offenses in this first quarter. Ochoa does a hard count, and he does get a man to jump off side, so that's going to be 1st and 10 for Rice. Ochoa's back in the gun on a couple plays later on 3rd and 9. He puts a man in motion and does a play fake. He tries to get it away, but he gets hit as he throws it, and that's going to fall incomplete, and that brings up another 4th down. Rice is going to have to punt it away. With less than a minute to go, Army is looking at 3rd and inches as Dawson does a hard count and gets a man to jump. It's been a lot of penalties this game. I'm not sure if the crowd noise is getting to them or if they're just being super eager as again, Dawson gets another person to jump before the snap. This time it's Larry Russell, and maybe they're just in competition of who's trying to get the most sacks, but jumping into the neutral zone is not the way to do it. Dawson takes the snap and it's a jet pass to Steven Suggs, and he's going to get brought down at the 23-yard line, and that's going to take us to the end of the first quarter. So into the second quarter, Army comes out and it's 3rd and 14 as Dawson once again does another hard count. So instead of 3rd and 14, it's 3rd and 9 as Dawson hands it off to Self, who doesn't get a first down, but he gets a good gain of 6. We'll see if they go for it on 4th down. They do keep the offense on the field on 4th and 3 as they look to convert. Dawson takes a snap and he hands it off to Ezra, who's stopped by Larry Russell, who's been called for so many of those encroachment calls so far this game. So out comes Rice for their next possession, who's been unable to put up any points so far. The handoff goes to Hartman, who gets about a gain of 12. Ochoa comes out in the shotgun, puts a man in motion, and hands it right back off to Hartman. He has some room to the left, and he takes it for another gain of about 12, bringing up another first down at the 36-yard line. Ochoa comes out under center this time as he does a play fake to Hartman. He throws it deep to Barry Jackson Jr., who makes his first catch on the game. It's going to be a gain of 23, picking it all the way to the Army 40-yard line. It's been a slow start for Rice, but they're finally past the 50-yard line as Ochoa hands it off to Hartman, who gets stopped almost immediately after a gain of 1. Ochoa's back in the gun as he takes the snap. He's looking to throw. He throws it to Grice, who makes the catch, and that's going to be a gain of about 5. It's going to be 3rd and 4. We're looking at a 51-yard field goal. We need about 9 or 10 more yards in order to feel comfortable with Wyman kicking it. Ochoa puts Grice in motion before he snaps the ball. Looks like they're going to be playing a zone, so we hand it off to Hartman. He gets stopped short of that first down line. Dugar's going to actually come in on 4th and 1, and there's no hesitation. We're going to hand the ball off to Dugar. He tries to jump over his teammate, but he's also stopped, so there's going to be a turnover on downs. We were kind of in no man's land there. We didn't want to punt that away, but we also didn't think our kicker could make it from that distance. So on 3rd and 7, Dawson takes the snap, and it's going to be a quarterback run, and he gets very close to that first down line, but he's going to be just short. Army's going to keep their offense out there and go for it on 4th and inches. They are in their own territory, but I don't think this is a terrible call. And here we go, 4th and inches. Dawson puts God's power in motion, but he hands it off to Quentin Ezra, who looks like he is fighting, and he does get that 1 yard. That was a tough yard to gain. So on 1st and 10, after that first down gain, Army comes out in an interesting flex bone look. They put Self in motion and tosses it to him. That was an interesting looking play. That's going to come back for holding. So it's going to be 2nd and 17. Dawson gets a man to jump, and it's going to be a quarterback keeper. And we take a bad angle there, and a late flag comes out. Luckily, we caught a break there because that was a terrible angle that we took. So instead of 3rd and short, it's going to be 2nd and 27. Dawson puts a man in motion. He tosses it to him, and that play is almost stopped immediately. Army will have to punt it away on 4th and 21. Jackson is deep to receive, and that's a good punt. He has some space though, and he takes it out to his left. It's a good spin, and he's going to bring it out back to about the 31-yard line. So out comes Rice once again, still scoreless in this first half with under 5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. We'll see if they're able to put some points on the board this time. Ochoa hands it off to Hartman, who has some space to the left. A good block by Jackson, and Hartman has nothing but space in front of him. It's going to be a foot race, and he will score. So Rice is finally able to score on another home run play by Hartman. That was a 69-yard run. So out comes Army on 1st and 10 after that huge run from Hartman. Dawson steps back to throw. He hits his man out to his left, and he will get a first down on the play. Dawson takes the snap, and it's a draw play to God's power. He has some space, and he will get another first down. With less than 4 minutes left to go in this first half, we are experiencing some wear and tear issues with some of our players. Army snaps it too quick, so we couldn't get all of them out. We do eventually get most of them out. On 3rd and 6, Dawson comes out with an empty backfield. It's a screen out to his right, and he's going to have some space. He's going to have a first down plus more down into the red zone. That's going to be Aiden Self, the running back. So now Army is threatening inside the red zone, looking to score some points before the end of the half. Dawson takes the snap, and it looks like it was an option play, but he keeps it and goes for a loss of 2. That's going to take us to the 2-minute timeout. So on 2nd and 12, it's God's power in the backfield with Dawson. Dawson checks it down to God's power and he gets another good gain. That's going to be 3rd and inches. They're going to give it to their big man who fights for it and makes it 1st and goal. Dawson tries again on the quarterback keeper, but he's taken down in the backfield once again. This time he's back to throw and he almost throws an interception, but it's dropped. So that's going to lead to a field goal as we jump early again, but they're going to take the points. That's going to make the score 7-6. With about 30 seconds left to go in all of their timeouts, we'll see if Rice tries to get some points on this possession as they get a big chunk play on 1st down, taking it to the 37-yard line. They're going to run a hurry up as Ochoa gets set in the gun with Hartman in the backfield. Ochoa steps back to throw again. He checks it down to Hartman, who takes a huge hit and it falls incomplete. 2nd and 10. 20 seconds remaining. Ochoa steps back to throw. He has a man out to his right. That's Zenter, who gets out of bounds. It's going to be 3rd and 3 with 17 seconds left. Rice comes out in the gun once again as Ochoa puts Jackson in motion. Ochoa takes the snap looking to pass. He does hit Jackson, and he's going to go out of bounds at about the 38-yard line with 12 seconds to go. So Hartman and Dugar is both in the backfield as Ochoa steps back to throw. He has a man deep. Again, it's Jackson having a good game. 3 catches for 69 yards, and it's still just the 1st half. With 4 seconds left on 2nd and goal, we do go ahead and kick a field goal, making the score 10-6, taking it into the half. Let's get this 2nd half started as Army kicks off to begin the 3rd quarter. Matthews is back to receive and he will take it back to about the 20-yard line. Outside of that 70-yard run by Hartman, that was a good defensive half by both teams. Let's see if it's going to be more of the same or if one of these offenses can get started as Rice comes out to start the 3rd quarter. Ochoa starts to drive off under center as Hartman's in the backfield. Ochoa steps back to throw. He has a man out right, but he overthrows him, so that's going to fall incomplete. So on 3rd and 7, Ochoa comes out in the gun. Hartman's in the backfield with him. Jackson and Grice is out to his left. Ochoa again steps back to throw. This time he's on target. He hits Grice, and that's going to be a 1st down. Rice has came out the 2nd half throwing the ball as again Ochoa overthrows his intended target. Hopefully in his offseason, Ochoa works on his accuracy because he's been very inconsistent as he hands it off to Hartman here, who loses a yard. That's going to bring up 3rd and 7. Ochoa steps back to throw. He throws to his right, and again that's Grice, but that's going to be short of a 1st down, and they're going to have to punt it away. We move ahead to about 9 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter, and Dawson throws an interception, trying to get it to his halfback, Aiden Self. That's the 1st turnover of the game, and that puts Rice in a good position to extend their lead. Ochoa hands it off to Hartman, who has another 1st down. That's a good gain. Hartman has 13 rushes for 126 yards. Those numbers are slightly inflated because of that 69-yard rush, but he has had some chunk rushes as well, just like that one. Ochoa steps back to throw, and it's going to be a screen to Grice, who has some room to his left, and that's going to be another 1st down. It's going to be 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Ochoa's going to come out in the gun with Hartman in the backfield. Ochoa steps back to throw. He has him in the end zone, and that's Jackson for his first touchdown of the season. Jackson is finally having one of those games that I thought he would have had by now, but he does get his name in a touchdown column, pushing our lead 17-6. After that touchdown, not too much had went on, so we're going to go ahead and move to the end of the third quarter. With under 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, we do get a couple of field goals to extend our lead 23-6. And then on 3rd and 10 with under 2 minutes left to go, Dawson steps back to throw. He throws a jump ball to his man who catches it over the defender and takes it in for a touchdown. Coach wasn't too happy about giving up that touchdown late. Army does try to go ahead and kick an onside, but ultimately Rice would recover, and that would take us to the end of the game.